my buttercups. We are currently doing a series of Uranus throughout the houses. And oh my goodness, my little rebellious Uranus in the second house natives. Y'all's financial motto in life is expect the unexpected. These are the people that know how to live a comfortable life where they can just throw it in the bag and not even care what the item cost. And these are also the natives that know how to stretch $4 for 2 weeks. They typically experience these erratic fluctuations within their finances with this placement. And they are the ones that do not view money as a means to being able to provide them this comfortable lifestyle. They view money as their ticket to freedom, to allow them to do what they want to do when they want to do it and gain this freedom of being restricted or controlled. And these natives may have an up and down relationship with their possessions as well. Just think about it. Uranus is the only planet that spins up and down rather than around. I'm sure I'm not wording that correctly, but you know what I mean. They can have an attachment to possessions because they know what it's like to not have money and just be able to go out and buy something new. So they may save things so that they can reuse them in a different way later on. But they also can feel kind of possessed by their possessions in a way. So these natives have a huge desire for freedom, and their possessions can weigh them down in a way, can restrict their movement. And it can cause this native to just absolutely rebel, throwing out all their possessions or donating all of their possessions. But we'll say they do love to own some unique, quirky pieces and that are kind of one of a kind in a way, because those one of a kind things give a possession character. Now, their motivations in life can also fluctuate. So if you have this placement, just know that it's very natural for you to feel this way, okay? These people can be entrepreneurs because they often get their income in inconsistent ways. Although they may not start out as an entrepreneur, so they could actually work a 9-to-5 job, but they will soon find out that they are restricted by this. There is nothing in them that wants to work at a job that only gives them a certain amount of time off in exchange for some reliable pay. Nope, and nope, okay? They may be in this job for a moment, but ultimately it will be unfulfilling because their freedom to work when they want to work will be called into question. And anytime Uranus feels trapped or restricted, it rebels. So this is the sign that can have what I call FU money. So if they don't like a job, they can say F you and leave. Actually, if they don't even have FU money, they know that money comes and goes and it somehow will come for them and they will make it. Or maybe they'll even take a lesser paying job because it has more freedom. They will not be restricted. So you may find that they actually do have skills to be in a corporate job and just make these bukus of money, but because they only have so many sick days and vacation days, they may quit and maybe get something like a restaurant job where as long as they put in their request for time off, they get approved. There really is just no set amount of days off. And this can be seen as a rebellious attitude towards money from other people. But money will not control these people. Let's say they're at a job where they're micromanaged and monitored all the time. They will not stay just because it's a consistent paycheck. They will rebel because, the job is making them lose their freedom. And freedom is this native's currency. End of story. They can make abrupt changes in their career. They can also have multiple revenue streams coming in, but they won't be steady or consistent. So maybe they have money in the stock market, but it fluctuates up and down. And then they have a job that, is based on commission. So again, it fluctuates. Or they can be the DoorDash drivers or the Uber Eats drivers because that type of job allows a certain amount of freedom while working, but it's kind of a toss-up on how much you're going to make. Or maybe they own their own business, but the sales fluctuate. And they can also have innovative ways to gain income. So these are the natives that can have or use technology and the internet to make money. And those with Uranus in the second house have a special gift. Let me tell you what it is. They can intuitively know when it's good to invest in something that will pay off in the future, because Aquarius rules very future forward thinking. So maybe they just had this sudden hunch to invest in Bitcoin while it was unknown, or maybe invest in the real estate business before a big boom hits. And they can be the gamblers that bet on something and win. But they can also take hits to their income as well, because they just have this erratic flow to their income. So there will be times where they may not have the money to make ends meet, so they may get behind on some bills and put into collections over a debt owed. They really do live a life where you have to expect the unexpected with anything of value, and you cannot have attachment to it. Now, speaking of values, people with Uranus in their second house may have a very unconventional value system. And it doesn't mean it's bad or wrong, but they often just think outside the box. So whereas other people are often what I call wage slaves, these people are not. They would rather die than be a wage slave. And also, they don't like being told what to do about their money or their beliefs. If someone tries to force their opinions on this native, well, the native can react rather than respond. And they are the ones that will go up against anyone. They do not care, even the government, okay? And they may even break a few rules if they feel like something is unjust. Now, Aquarius does rule over the 11th house, which is a house that wants ethical treatment of humanity. So there may be a social cause that they are passionate about or contribute to. And if they see anything unethical in an organization, they can greatly distance themselves from helping out in any way. So, for example, these are the people that may find goodwill atrocious. They often have what some people call thrift grift at Goodwill. So, they get all this donated stuff that doesn't cost them anything. And then sometimes they overprice it to consumers and yet still try to look like a good company that helps people find jobs and job skills. But then the CEO is making these bukus of money after his retirement and his bonus and his base salary. Yet it's also considered a nonprofit organization. Someone with Uranus in their second house may greatly distance themselves from contributing to a cause like that. They can be the ones that maybe start their own charity because they find corruptness in others, or even just be a pioneer for a cause. These natives will be opinionated in their beliefs, and they don't necessarily like when other people try to bully other people. So they don't like when the elite try to exploit poor people. That can fuel passion within the Uranus in the second house person. They can have some radical self-expression and be totally fearless about what they believe in, and they do not mind to share their views, okay? And they can feel like they're totally right about it, and they are truth seekers and truth tellers and that thing. But here's the thing that's so frustrating with this placement. They can receive resistance when they speak out about their views. They are so future thinking that they can realize when systems are broken, and they can speak out about things that need to change in humanity. And it seems so simple to this native because they are used to change occurring within their life. But others are just not so open to change and don't want to rock the boat. So the radical ideas of a native with Uranus in the second house can be too shocking or too forward-thinking for other people. And really, the native is trying to help the underdog and be a champion for the less fortunate and their rights. But the very people they are trying to help may be too scared to make any changes. And a lot of people can't tolerate abrupt changes. But this native can see the bigger picture and the systems involved, whereas other people can't. And they can also make enemies because they are definitely not afraid to rock their boat with their value system. They don't mind to be the outliers. They don't mind to be the ones that seem different. They can be the revolutionist that is able to rally a cause and change things for the better for everyone, not just a select group. And these natives, when they're in their higher vibration, can really encourage and motivate people to be different and to do things differently. But ultimately, it's up to the person that they're telling if they want to make the change or not. The Uranus in the second house person can only plant the seeds that the current system is not helping them. So I know that's a lot, but this is a very, very powerful placement to have. I've seen astrologers say that this is a really, really hard placement to have. And I really don't think it is, because you obtain your freedom with this placement and you are able to motivate others in this world to obtain their freedom as well. You're a great example at that. Let me know all about how this placement has played out for you in the comments below. Mwah.